Nancy? Because the valve is bigger.
Eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Oh, there's something so real about living local, and I know without a doubt I'm not alone. And I'm loving living local. There's nowhere else I'd rather be. Said I'm loving living local. WTRF is working for me. The Ohio Valley is where I love to be.
Does this current crisis leave you wondering how to pay your bills? Well, a lot of people are struggling right now. I'm attorney Tom McIntyre.
Okie dokie. Did you reboot the system or whatever? Okay.
Figure out what to do now and what to do when this is over. We will get through this together.
Hello, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm the Storm Tracker, Darnell Foster, with a look at your local weather forecast for your Monday. Look for partly sunny skies through the afternoon. Breezy at times, a daytime high of 32. Overnight low of 24 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Snow showers beginning through the overnight. Better chance of seeing them early Tuesday. Otherwise, mostly cloudy with highs in the 30s. Have yourself a great day, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm Darnell Foster.
The views and opinions expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of this station or its sponsors.
Coming back to work isn't always easy.
Please don't make me go to work today.
Work means stress.
Can't make it in today. I can't come to work today.
I can't come to work today.
I am so hungover.
Today is National Football Hangover Day.
Oh God, I'm so hungover.
The most popular day to call out is Monday.
Dude, that's today.
I'm calling it sick.
So let's go on. Showtime.
Conversations you care about with people you know. This is the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe, brought to you in part by Wheeling Hospital.
Welcome to Monday, hour number 3 of our big gig here. Lots to do still in the final hour. Going to talk in a moment or two to the new president of West Liberty University, Dr. Franklin Evans, with his thoughts on what his goals may be for and what he sees the future of the Hilltop campus being. Get into that coming up in a second or two. Last hour, talked to State Senator Bill Ehlenfeld about the upcoming session of the legislature. It is likely to be an unusual session because of COVID, but there are multiple big issues that are pending, including the reductions in or elimination of the state income tax. And if that happens, how do you counteract losing 43% of your general fund budget? Senator Ehlenfeld offered some of his thoughts on that. If you missed the conversation, I'll have it up on our podcast page later on today at watchdognetwork.com. Speaking of watchdognetwork.com, our website poll that's up on the website today is, should West Virginia eliminate the personal income tax? You can go to the website, watchdognetwork.com, and vote on that. Should West Virginia eliminate the personal income tax? Poll questions are always difficult because asking the question doesn't really get you into how do you do it. I mean, if you ask me, do I like to pay income tax? My short answer is no. If you ask me, do I want to not pay income tax and watch higher education funding, public education funding, road funding, health care funding be diminished, the answer is also no. I'd rather pay my tax and still see those things go. So it's a little bit of an awkward question, but it gives you a start. Should West Virginia eliminate the personal income tax? You can find that on our website at watchdognetwork.com. Also, if you are watching watchdognetwork.com this morning, I do apologize. On watchdognetwork.com, also on Facebook Live, our live video feed is getting interrupted today. I do not know why. We'll figure it out after 10 o'clock and hopefully get it figured out before Bill DeFabio gets on the air at noon. But if you're watching on Facebook Live, on my page, or on the Watchdogs page, please accept my apologies for any problems that we are experiencing there. Also coming up on the national front, Fox Business Channel cancels the Lou Dobbs show, and Rudy Giuliani is all upset that his radio show now carries a disclaimer. These concerns may come about because of a huge lawsuit that has been filed against Dobbs and Giuliani and Fox and some others, and we'll talk about that coming up a little bit later on. It is a cold start to the morning this morning, and we're going to see a reasonably cold day today. We probably won't get to freezing, or at least barely to freezing during the day. Wind chills could approach negative value readings this morning. We came close to it earlier. We were down to 1 degree. Feels like temperature has bumped up a little bit now. We are at 15 degrees at the Wheeling, Ohio County Airport. With some wind out there, it now feels like 6. So you need an extra thumb, one hand and a thumb, to count the feels like temperature, 6 degrees. 15 at the Wheeling, Ohio County Airport, 15 here at my home studios in Elm Grove, and 15 degrees at the Robinson Auto Group Studios downtown Wheeling, in the heart of the Ohio Valley. And the other big issue of the day has been the Super Bowl. Biff and I have been talking about the Super Bowl, the game, the ads, the performances, and we may have a chance to kind of wrap things up in the next half hour of the show, the final half hour on that if we have a little bit more time. But right now, I want to welcome to the program, and indeed to the Ohio Valley, the new head honcho at West Liberty University, the president, W. Franklin Evans. Dr. Evans, good morning. Welcome to our show.
Good morning. How are you?
I am wonderful. And are you finding our Ohio Valley accommodating to you so far?
Other than the snow, yes, it has been most accommodating.
You're coming most recently from what, the Carolinas, yes?
I am coming from South Carolina, where at 55 degrees, they are complaining that it's too cold. It's too cold. So, yes.
Well, you'll adjust. We love our 4 seasons up here. We love the 4 seasons up here. Tell me something. What attracted you to West Liberty in the sense of, applying for the search?
Well, certainly I was looking for a change from the South. I certainly wanted to get back at a state or public institution. And then it was my goal to serve at a predominantly white institution. And so when it was brought to my attention that West Liberty was looking for a new president, and I looked at the profile, and it really kind of mirrored my own goals and aspirations. And so I said, hey, I could see myself at West Liberty. And so here I am.
Did I hear you say you were looking for a primarily white institution?
Yes, I was looking for a PWI. The majority of my experience has been at HBCUs, historically black colleges and universities. And so I really wanted to diversify my profile, my repertoire much better. And so having served at 7 HBCUs and only having been a part-time employee at 2 other PWIs, I was looking to work solely at a PWI, yes.
Being an African American, does that bring a different perspective? You think you are the first African American president of West Liberty University in all of its years? 137? I forget how many years.
183.
There you go. Well, you know about it better than I do, and that's a shame because I've been around longer. But does that bring a different perspective, being an African American, do you think?
Of course, I think it brings a different perspective. It would be crazy to think it did not. But yes, it does. And I think that as we've now moved into a whole new century, this millennium, I think that having someone different, someone diverse, someone who's African American will certainly add a different flavor and hopefully can open up another set of eyes that could strengthen the institution and move it forward.
Have you, I should say have you, I know you have. What are some of your thoughts about where West Liberty University needs to go, should be going? I don't know if you've formalized any action plan or goal plan, but you have to have given some thought, certainly probably prior to being named president and certainly afterwards. What is your vision of West Liberty University?
Okay, so one of the things I'm proud to say is that when I arrived here at West Liberty University, there's already a strategic plan that's in place. And so one of the things that from, interviewing and going through the initial process is that it needed to be a vision, it needed to be a plan that I embraced. And so by coming here, it's not that I'm trying to change or undo what's already listed and what the goal is. I'm here to enhance and certainly implement the plan. And so for me, academic success is extremely important. The community engagement is a priority for the institution. Certainly operational excellence is something that we have to focus on. But making the student experience here at West Liberty, enhancing that, making it relevant and meaningful, all of those are priorities that I feel are important and is a part of the plan and goal for me as president.
It's interesting that you say you come into a plan that's already being formulated because it is not unusual, and West Liberty has gone through this in the past, and many other institutions have as well, that someone new comes in and has a totally different vision and takes people off in a different direction, and that can very often cause a lot of dissonance. Right. So you're beginning with some concurrence, I guess, with the strategic plan that's already being developed, right?
Certainly. I think it would have been fruitless for me on the front end to see that a new plan had been developed, a new plan is in progress, and for me to come here and want to shift it completely in a different direction. If that was the case, I never would have considered coming here to West Liberty University. So based on that plan and based on the core priorities, certainly I felt that it was something that I could come into, lend my expertise, and certainly be a benefit towards moving it to achieving those goals.
Higher education in West Virginia has had a rough road to hoe in recent years. A lot of decreases in education funding, The past year, of course, the COVID year has hit all institutions, I think, somewhat hard. I mean, you're coming in at a time that there may be a lot of positive upside, and I certainly feel that way about West Liberty. But there's also a lot of work to do, I guess.
Yeah. You are correct, and if it were just West Virginia that was kind of in this kind of clutch, I would certainly be alarmed, be concerned. But across the nation, institutions of higher education are experiencing the same kinds of cuts. Finances not being there, enrollment decline, and then you've got just a population of students who are just unsure about the future, unsure if they need to invest and be a part of this educational process right now. And so some of the concerns that are here at West Liberty University are being experienced and articulated all across this country in all of our states. But it really is a special time. It is a challenging time, whether you're here at West Liberty University or whether you're at MIT. We all have some challenges that we're trying to move through and press forward.
Have you had a chance yet to spend much time with the students or the faculty on campus?
So, so we're certainly being safety conscious, and a lot of my meetings, and trust me, there are a lot of meetings, are being done virtually. But I have had an opportunity to engage with some of the students. I've gone over to the dining facility, to the student union. So I've had the pleasure of talking to students, to meeting some students. I've had several interviews and conversations with students virtually, and similarly with faculty. We just put together our virtual spring convocation. Normally that's the time where faculty and staff, we meet together and they hear the progress of the institution. This year it was done virtually. But those are the kinds of adaptations we're having to make. But I am slowly but surely making it around campus, engaging with faculty and staff. Last Thursday we had a ribbon cutting for our 2 new health clinics here on campus. And so that afforded me an opportunity to certainly see, engage, and dialogue with some additional faculty members in the sciences that I have not had that pleasure of meeting. So it's occurring, slowly but surely.
West Liberty has really, I guess refocus is the word, but has really begun to upgrade its focus on health sciences and the health professions in recent years. It's a PA program and some other things have really been very successful. They're relatively new. What do you see as the key areas of academic focus that West Liberty has and should grow or should try to grow that it doesn't have?
Well, certainly, I think you've hit the nail on its head talking about the sciences. I think because of this pandemic, we're certainly seeing a need for some other healthcare types of programs, and so we're definitely proud of our physician assistance program here, as well as the dental hygiene. But moving in that direction is something that we're going to continue to do. The 2 clinics, one is in speech and hearing, and certainly we think that there is a need in this area of the state to have those kinds of initiatives to train and certainly provide services for those persons who are having speech difficulties, hearing difficulties. And so I believe that particular program is certainly going to be needed here in this area. By the fall, we anticipate having our master's degree program in speech pathology and audiology up and running. The behavioral health is something that I think is a major focus because during this pandemic, a lot of people are suffering, not only physically, but mentally and emotionally. And so areas of such, I think, will continue to be where we will be moving. But then there are other areas that, environmental science, and this whole idea of the pandemic and perhaps some type of program in epidemiology will certainly be something that we're thinking about. But certainly health sciences and the sciences is an area of expansion where I think there are some needs, and West Liberty University could be that institution to provide those needs.
Dr. Evans, one of the things that I wrestle with in my own mind from time to time is the purpose of a higher education. I guess I come from the old school that says that the primary purpose is simply to create an educated person, well-rounded, with a ability to think and to reason and to have a wide range of knowledge. But it does seem to me as if higher education has become more of a, this is going to sound pedestrian, I don't mean it that way, but more of a job training facility than it used to be. How do you reconcile those two?
Well, I won't disagree with you. I certainly think that institutions have to be much more proactive in knowing that once you have a graduate from your institution, you want that person to be employed. It does no one any good to just be smart with a degree and you're unemployed. And so I think that higher ed institutions, specifically West Liberty University, has focused on making sure that we develop a well-rounded individual, a holistic approach to not just providing a body of knowledge, but providing students with some practical hands-on experience so that when they graduate, they certainly can get a job. And there are those who would say, oh, would you major in English? Well, what kind of job will you get with that? But we also have to teach some soft skills because there are job opportunities out there that they're looking for people who know how to relate to other folks. And so we provide that base, that foundation, and certainly once someone gets employed, we think we've retooled them enough so that they can adapt, they can learn whatever needs to be learned on the job. And so our task is to certainly develop, nurture, and equip individuals so that once they leave from here, they can make that transition, no matter what it is. And so certainly there's still a need for higher education. A 4-year college degree is still relevant. It's still important. Now you will find out that jobs that people used to get with just a high school diploma, now you will see employers filling those positions with people with bachelor's and master's degree. The world of work has become so competitive that it's just not enough to have a high school diploma in most cases. You got to have some type of college training. And what that says is that it just tells the employer that you have the potential to learn, that you have the knowledge base, that you can adapt, that you can do whatever you are set to do, whatever you've been tasked to do. I think a college degree, a college education affords individuals that opportunity.
Yeah, I have not been tracking. I used to keep it better. I had track on this. I haven't tracked how the enrollment has gone at West Liberty. I don't know if it's up or down, but regardless, how do you grow enrollment? What are your thoughts in terms of growing? Also, maybe I should learn to speak a little better. How do you envision growing the enrollment there, or do you grow enrollment? Is that an issue?
It is an issue, and as we spoke previously, that is one of my priorities as president. I've got a list of the top 5 things. Alumni engagement is important, community focus, student success, as I said earlier, financial stability of the institution, but enrollment. And enrollment is one of those things that if we've got the students that we need, we can be financially stable and secure. So yes, enrollment is at the top of my list. We want students to see the value of an education here at West Liberty University. And so we've been working hard. We've implemented strategies to try to bring students here. Due to COVID-19, it makes it very difficult for us to recruit the way we used to recruit. We're not able to get into high schools. We're not able to go, and our recruiters meet with seniors and juniors and do the sales pitch. nowadays everything is being done virtually. It's being done electronically, and that does pose a problem because you're missing that human touch, that human aspect, where a recruiter comes in and talks to you, and you're able to relate to that person. It makes it very difficult now because of COVID-19. But we're still looking at creative ways to get students on campus. So we're having these virtual open houses, and so we're sending out these mass messages and hopefully getting students to participate, do the virtual tour of our campus. I've already done a greetings for one of our virtual open house and recruitment days. And so we're having to do things very differently than we had to before. But a part of the enrollment piece, Mr. Monroe, is also the retention piece. You know, once we get students here, we want to keep them here as well. And so because face-to-face instruction has shifted, and now we're having a hybrid or a blended type of instructional mode, we still have to worry about the social aspect of students, keeping them engaged, so that, you know, once they come to a West Liberty University, they're not going to want to leave. So as much as we're concerned about enrollment and recruiting students here, we're equally as tuned in to the retention of those students as well.
I don't know the background in terms of the institutions you've worked at before, but West Liberty is, I won't say unique, but it is an isolated institution. Students often come on campus and I mean, it's a long way away to get back down the hill to Wheeling or someplace like that. How do you create a true student experience when you're in that kind of an isolated environment? And again, I'm not talking about COVID, which makes it 10 times worse. I'm talking about, you know, even in normal times.
And that is a very good question. And so that means that we have got to work harder in keeping our students engaged. When I was interviewing, I was made aware that a large percentage of our students leave on the weekend. And so what I was hearing is that very few students remain on campus. Well, when I hear what is very few students, oh, maybe about 500 or 600. Well, 500 or 600 students is a lot of students that are here. And certainly we need to do something to keep those students engaged, keep them involved. Otherwise, they will find other things that might not be that positive. And so we're having to, our student affairs division certainly is having to be innovative to think of those things that will keep students engaged and involved. I am challenging our student organizations, particularly our Student Government Association, to step up, to certainly be more proactive in planning and in organizing things that students themselves feel will be important. I think that a part of our agenda here at West Liberty University is to bring in speakers and to provide on campus those kinds of activities, those kinds of initiatives that will get students out of the residence life buildings, get them engaged, even some service activities that may require them to do some things here on campus, or even to branch out in the community and do some things, just to keep them involved, just to keep them interested. Certainly, I would love to have a Beyonce to come on campus and do a concert and do those kinds of things. But we have to be very creative. And I do have some amazing staff members here they've been doing some things, but we're having to step it up another notch because of COVID-19.
You know, you mentioned speakers, which reminds me, years ago, and you probably have already heard about this, years ago, when I was a much younger man, they called the Hughes Lecture Series on campus, and they would bring in just some of the most fascinating speakers on fascinating topics. Even when you were not a student, you would go to West Liberty to hear these speakers, and I always remember the Hughes Lecture Series as being a high point of the year, really, here in the Upper Ohio Valley. Some of those key speakers, it was always interesting. So I think that's a good idea. Dr. Evans, I got to let you go. I would be remiss if I didn't, before I let you go, though, point out that you have this wonderful TV station which has really excellent programming, including this one really, really good political show that I've heard about.
Okay.
Called At Issue, where they have these two great hosts. One is a newspaper guy, and there's a good radio guy. And they analyze the news of the week. And I just tell you, everything I've heard, that's a top-notch program.
You know, I have not tuned into that program At Issue, you said, but
yes.
I've heard some amazing things about the two individuals that are working with it myself. So I'm going to investigate, do a little homework myself to find out how great it really is.
All right, sir. Hey, I appreciate your time this morning. Again, welcome to the Ohio Valley. Welcome to West Liberty. And thank you for joining us here on the radio show. You're always welcome to come by anytime you have something you want to talk about. Always happy to have you here.
I will do that. I'll remember that. Thank you so much, Mr. Monroe.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Have yourself a great day, Dr. Evans. Enjoy it. Appreciate it.
Uh-huh.
All right. Did I ever sell that too much, Biffy?
You talk about a shameless plug.
Sometimes you get shameless self-promotion in there, right? We haven't done that issue for I don't think since the end of the year. I think the last one we did was probably end of the year show. So I guess I better get McCabe up on, I better get cracking on getting the new At Issue up there so the new guy can see how really good we truly are. He'll probably say, why do those two guys fight with each other all the time?
Or he might say that's a good thing that they're fighting.
Well, it could be. It could be. I think a lot of people enjoy watching McCabe and I go at it. The At Issue show. But we haven't done one for a good while, so we need to get back into that. John was away, and then, of course, I was sick, and then we had holidays, and so we got to get back into At Issue business. All right, 9:37, 23 till the hour on the Watchdog Morning Show. A few other odds and ends I'd like to get into. And, of course, Bob Westphal should be coming by to talk to us about the news of the day that's being worked on over at the Big 7. All that is coming up. Then after 10 o'clock, it is Statewide Talk Line with my good friend, Mr. Kirchhoff. Busy day on Hoppy Show as well. But let's kick things off at this moment with a quick check of headlines from my friends at Metro News.
The Metro News Update is brought to you by Thomas Auto Centers, Mall Road, St. Clairsville. Get the best deal at Thomas Auto Centers.
West Virginia Metro.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yes, I do. In fact, thank you for reminding me. Yeah, I'll do that actually when we come back. Yeah, it's going to take a while for me to get used to it, so please remind me until I get used to it. Thank you. Right, I don't know where we'll put it, but yeah, we'll definitely do it. I'm glad you thought of that.
234-1971. They'll take good care of you.
Plumbers and Steam Fitters Local 83 want to thank the owners and contractors of the Ohio Valley for using their locally trained workers to help build for the future. Local 83 helps design, fabricate, and build the gas infrastructure for the oil and gas industry here in the Ohio Valley. Plumbers and Steam Fitters Local 83 is 300 members strong and growing. They also do residential, commercial, and industrial work on both sides of the river. For more information, call Plumbers and Steam Fitters Local 83 at 304-233-4445.
Hello, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm the Storm Tracker, Darnell Foster, with a look at your local weather forecast for your Monday. Look for partly sunny skies through the afternoon. Breezy at times, a daytime high of 32. Overnight low of 24 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Snow showers beginning through the overnight. Better chance of seeing them early Tuesday. Otherwise, mostly cloudy with highs in the 30s. Have yourself a great day, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm Darnell Foster.
He's set the standard for what radio shows should be. Listen to nationally recognized and award-winning radio host Howard Monroe. Weekday mornings 7 to 10 a.m. Only on The Watchdog. Follow us on Facebook for the latest news, show updates, podcasts, alerts, and live video streams from the Valley's only network dedicated to local, community-driven talk radio, The Watchdog. Give us a call and tell us what you're thinking. Locally, 304-214-1600. Out of the area, toll free, 866-514-1600 or 304-232-8255.
From the West Virginia Broadcasting Hall of Fame, directly to you. This is the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe, brought to you in part by Wheeling Hospital.
15 degrees at the Wheeling, Ohio County Airport here at my home studios and at the Robinson Auto Group Studios downtown Wheeling in the heart of the Ohio Valley. 15 feels like 6 degrees with the wind blowing at about 6 miles an hour right now. What media fact checkers could not do, what Democrat claims and allegations and arguments could not do, what critics ranting could not do to the right-wing media, lawsuits seem to have done. The most recent of them is a lawsuit brought by a company called Smartmatic. They're a voting technology company, and they are among the companies that were pointed out by some of these far-right Looney Tune commentators as supposedly having been part of the election fraud. And they were not, which calm, rational thinking people know, A, there was no election fraud, and B, there was none of this, Dominion was the other company, and then this was Smartmatic, and the claim was that, and I forget whether Smartmatic was supposedly, put together by Venezuelan officials or Russian, but the claims were out there, and they were, and it's bad image for the Smartmatic company. And they have filed a $2.7 billion lawsuit against Fox News, Rudy Giuliani, attorney Sidney Powell, who's one of the Looney Tunes that was trying to influence Donald Trump in the end, all over what they call was this disinformation campaign. Prior to this, Dominion had filed similar suits. You'll recall that Fox News, America's, One America, OAN, whatever that new right-wing network is called, Newsmax, they all had to go on the air and basically say, we didn't mean that. We didn't mean that. We didn't mean it when we said it. We've said some things that we have no evidence for. And over the weekend, a couple of things happened I thought were interesting. Number one, on Fox Business Channel, a division, of course, of the Fox News Corporation, the Lou Dobbs Show was given the boot. Now, Fox Business is saying, why, we had planned this for some time. It was all part of our overall game plan to make some changes. And it may be true. I don't know. But I can tell you this, Lou Dobbs was the highest rated show on the Fox Business Channel. But I can also tell you that Lou Dobbs is one of the craziest of the right-wing commentators that they had as well. So Lou Dobbs on Thursday night said, well, I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks a lot. And no, he didn't see us tomorrow, because after he was done, they said, yeah, why don't you go home now, Lou, and don't come back no mo, don't come back no mo. So he was given the boot. Well, again, Fox News, Fox Business Channel, Fox Corporation says, we had planned this all along, so I cannot dispute that. That's what they say. The timing certainly seems a little interesting. I found this next one even more interesting, though. Rudy Giuliani, of course, former New York City mayor, Donald Trump Looney Tune attorney, does a radio show on WABC in New York. An old friend of mine runs that station. I should really give Dave a call and ask him about working with Rudy, because that's got to be, ooh. So Rudy Giuliani does a show on WABC in New York. And after this Smartmatic lawsuit was filed, they began running a disclaimer right before he comes on the air. And basically it just says, Biffy, we run one every day here on our station, right?
Yes, we do, right before the open for the show.
I mean, basically it says the views and opinions on this program are those of the individuals, me, and not of the company, the big bosses, right? I mean, that's standard fare on all radio stations. So Rudy Giuliani, he is all upset about this. He's really upset. Well, why would they put that on my radio show? I don't need any disclaimer here. I would have thought they would have told me about that. It's insulting. Gives you a sense of how far this free speech thing has gone. Hey, Rudy, you're still on the air. Ask Lou Dobbs how far the free speech can go. You're still at least on the air. And all they did was put a little thing on this, the views and opinions. In fact, what does it say specifically? I've got it here. The views, assumptions, and opinions expressed by former U.S. Attorney, former Attorney to the President of the United States, and New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani, his guests and his callers are strictly their own and do not represent opinions, beliefs, or policies of WABC Radio, its owner, its other hosts, or its advertisers. Almost identical to what we say here, and every talk station in America says. A disclaimer. Oh, Rudy's upset. His free speech rights are being violated. No, you're still on the air, which actually surprises me. I gotta call Dave. The guy who runs WABC is a guy I used to hang out with for years. I gotta maybe give him a call. Anyway, what media fact-checking was not able to do, what Democratic outrage was not able to do, what social media tweets and so on could not do, billion-dollar lawsuits have done. They've made the far-right media say, yeah, I guess we actually probably should try to traffic in the truth instead of these lies and crazy opinions. And you know why, Biffy? Because money talks.
All comes down to money.
Money talks. It's one thing to say, why, yes, we're getting great ratings. Lou Dobb is a crazy person, but we're getting great ratings and we can sell advertising. Although actually they weren't selling much advertising on the Lou Dobb show, but yes, he's getting great ratings. People like him. The president, Donald Trump, was calling. Oh, yeah. Well, we know he's a little crazy, but hey, he's good stuff. Until it comes down to $2.7 billion. I was like, yeah, maybe we should actually, talk about the truth. So, what the media fact-checking couldn't do, the lawsuits have done. And it's all because of the big ka-ching. 10 before the hour here on the Watchdog Morning Show. Is Bob with us yet?
He is not.
All right, and then while we're waiting for Bob Westfall to join us to talk about what's going on in the Big 7 today, let's begin. Today begins our series of Capitol reports out of Charleston. Every day we'll take a look at things going on down in Charleston as the legislature gets ready to open. State of the State speech on Wednesday night, and the legislative session begins. Here's our Capitol report for the morning.
This is the Metro News Capitol Report, brought to you by AARP West Virginia. Your
State of the State speech will be on Wednesday night, and I believe we will have it for you. I got to check and see what we have to conflict with that. Wait a minute, WVU football or no? Yeah, no. If we had WVU football, that would be kind of weird. But
Hey, it's.
Do we have any WVU basketball coming up on Wednesday? I don't have my schedule in front of me. Do you know?
I do not have my schedule in front of me either, so we'll have to check real quick. But yeah, we are, I guess, 7 months away from football again, so there is that.
Keep that in mind, I suppose. But as long as we don't have other events already scheduled, well, I'm sure we'll be bringing you the live coverage of the governor's State of the State speech on Wednesday evening, beginning at 7 o'clock. But I need to double check that to make sure that we don't have any other conflicts to go along with that. And then, of course, we will have the Capitol Report for you every morning here on the Watchdog Morning Show. And we'll be doing frequent interviews and conversations with different folks, our local legislators, some of the key players down in Charleston. Who knows, maybe the governor will join us someday. What do you think, Biff? Does the governor join us someday? I don't know. We'll have to, have to see how that plays out.
He may. I don't know.
I'm going to give it a try. You know, he has not... he was on with us several times, multiple times actually, when he was still a Democrat. And then when he changed parties, we haven't heard much from him. Well, we've heard nothing from him, to be precise, on this show. So maybe I'll put a request in, see if we can get the governor to come on and join us. I know who does join us every day, though, and that's Bob Westfall from the Big 7, telling us what's going on over there. So let's talk to Bob right now. Good morning, Bob.
Morning, Howard. How was your weekend?
It was pretty good. I ate a lot during the Super Bowl.
Yeah, me too. Not a good thing.
Did you have any bets placed? How did the Super Bowl go as far as your personal choices?
You know what? I really wanted Antonio Brown to win the MVP, but that's just because it would tick off other people I know. But I'm not going to go there.
You know, I understand that concept. Hey, that's good. Let's tick off other people. I completely understand that. I really do. Let's take a quick check of what you're working on today.
All right, a couple things. The businesses, the entities that are at the old OVMC building continue to grow. Helping Heroes out of Moundsville has now moved in the old Hillcrest, the old space there. So we're going up there. We're going to talk to the people behind Helping Heroes, find out how excited they are about moving to Wheeling, having another location to help veterans with their resources. So Caroline is heading up there shortly. Also, this is kind of cool. Round the World Gourmet, fantastic place in Bel Air, just got a grant for $125,000 into something called regenerative agriculture. So we're kind of excited to find out exactly what that is. It's another case where a small business in the Ohio Valley is taking advantage of the grants and things that are out there. This came through Jobs Ohio and the Belmont County Port Authority, so that's something kind of interesting. We are going to talk to the business owner and find out what she plans for the future. Also, we're sitting down with the bishop here in Wheeling-Charleston Diocese about this pastoral council that they're reviving. Kind of went away a few years ago, but we're kind of interested to find out what the plan is for that. We're going to sit down with him here shortly and talk to the bishop about those plans and see what else is going on within the diocese, the state of West Virginia. Finally, we're going to sit down with the new president of West Liberty University. We're actually our first sit down with him. We have done a couple Zoom interviews with him, but we're very interested to sit down with Dr. Evans and get his thoughts on many different things as we continue. Obviously, weather is going to be an issue with temperatures, so we're going to follow that, and then obviously all the follow-ups to the Super Bowl with Nolte, with Scott Nolte and Victoria Donatelli. So that's kind of what we're working on.
You got a lot of stuff going on today.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, it's a busy Monday.
Well, Monday, it's better to be busy than bored. That's what I say.
Yeah,
People can check things out at noon, 5, 6, 10, 11, 5:30 for the statewide show. Statewide show going to take on more importance this week because of the beginning of the legislative session. So Mark and the gang will have a lot of coverage on the statewide show, I'm sure, as well as you will on the Big Seven, because now we're in that time of year. And of course, when news breaks, we'll find out about it first at WTRF.com or on the WTRF Facebook page. Bob, I appreciate your time this morning. We will do it again tomorrow.
All right, guys. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Thanks a lot. Hoppy Kercheval talks to Senate President Craig Blair up first on the statewide talk line show coming up next, and also General Jim Hoyer about vaccinations. That's all coming up next. Me, I'll see you tomorrow morning, 7 o'clock. Go to our Willing Creeks Don't Rise. Are you back with me, Brother Biff?
I will be here for a Tuesday.
We'll keep on doing it until we get it right.
That could be a long time.
Indeed.
The Watchdog is FM 98.1, AM 1600 WKKX Wheeling, FM 97.7, AM 1370 WVLY Moundsville.
The ABC News is brought to you by Thomas Auto Centers, Mall Road, St. Clairsville. Get the best deal at Thomas Auto Centers.
Says ABC's Mona Kosar Abdi.
All right, Biffy. That was a pretty good show today. We got a lot of stuff in. Yeah, not too bad. Dr. Evans, I wasn't sure about him having interviewed him, but he was a good guest, so that worked out well. Tomorrow, Scudieri, and did I send you somebody you're supposed to call tomorrow, or does he call us? Do you know? You don't have anybody to call tomorrow, right? Okay. I have another guest. He's an author, Kevin Miller, who's written a book based in Wheeling. He's not in Wheeling, so I just can't remember whether we're supposed to call him. If we're supposed to call him, I've sent it to you already, so I'll double check it just to make sure. I think I may have sent it to you as a backup. I think he's supposed to call, but in case he didn't, there was a backup. I think. I'll double check it anyways. Okay. All right. Sounds good. All right. I'm going to see if Kayleen or somebody can track down what's wrong with our Facebook feed this morning. And if you need me for anything, you know I'll be around. So just give me a call. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry to bug you on Friday, too, about the audio feed. You know, there's only so much I can check remotely, and then it becomes a physical issue. It turned out the problem was the delay unit we have in VLY is dead. So the audio was going into the delay unit, but it wasn't going out of the delay unit into the Edcast. So Joe had to bypass it. Yeah. So we'll deal with that at some other date since we have too many other big problems to deal with. But I hated to bug you. I know that you're busy, especially on a Friday. You want to get out of there, but I didn't know what else to do. And I didn't know who was in the studio. Didn't know if Donnie was running the board and with Donnie, I'm never sure that maybe he hasn't done something wrong. That's why I just want to make sure. Okay. 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 Well, I really hate to bother you, but I didn't know what else to do. So, all right. If you need me, don't hesitate to give me a call. Otherwise, I'll talk to you in the morning. All right. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Bye.
Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has been in court ahead of his criminal trial.
Israel's prime minister pleading not guilty to the corruption charges against him, which include bribery, during a mandatory appearance at the district court here in Jerusalem. With hundreds protesting outside, Benjamin Netanyahu avoided the cameras, made no statement, and left the courtroom after just about 20 minutes. He's facing a tough re-election on March 23rd. The judges will now rule on whether witness testimony will begin before or after Election Day and how often Netanyahu must show up. Jordana Miller, ABC News, Jerusalem.
Just over a week after